What does happiness mean to you? That feeling of instant satisfaction, if that means becoming an entrepreneur, doctor, artist, or whatever your mind can come up with, psychologists typically break happiness into two main types. Now, what if I told you that your answer might depend on where you grew up? Well, the good news is there's no one size fits all definition of happiness. Welcome back to the What Now with Jay podcast. I'm Des, your guest host for this season, and here's a quick question for you. What does happiness mean to you? Is it having success at work, the financial freedom, or being able to provide for your family? Now, what if I told you that your answer might depend on where you grew up? Today, we're diving into how different cultures define happiness and why it might just change how you think about your own. Stick around for another episode of the What Now with Jay podcast. So let's talk about how psychology looks at happiness. After doing some research, here's some basics. Psychologists typically break happiness into two main types. Hedonic happiness, which you can think as the fun, pleasure, comfort, that feeling of instant satisfaction and living in the present moment. What's interesting about this type of happiness is that it depends on personal preferences and circumstances, which makes it unique and subjective. Now, there's the opposite, eudaimonic happiness, which is having a sense of fulfillment that is derived from personal growth, virtue, and contributing to something larger than oneself. So, this is often involving living in accordance with your own standards and values in life and aligning each of your actions to meaningful pursuits. Interestingly, this type of happiness is essentially a life quest to unlock the best version of yourself that there is. If that means becoming an entrepreneur, doctor, artist, or whatever your mind can come up with, this type of happiness allows you to reach your highest potential. But like most things in life, having a mix of both is ideal. How we value each depends a lot on our own culture. For example, in Western cultures, especially in the US, we lean hard on the individualistic side, building our self esteem, focusing on achievements, especially doing what makes you happy. But that's just one piece of the global puzzle. So, looking a bit deeper into happiness around the world. Again, Western cultures like the US, UK, in these places, happiness is often linked to success and independence. One study found that 76% of Americans define happiness in terms of personal achievement. Then you have Eastern cultures such as Japan, China, Korea. Here, happiness is more about harmony. So things like fitting in, caring for others, and keeping the peace. In Japan, for example, people talk about ikigai, which is your reason for being. So it's less about chasing personal pursuits and more about finding meaning in your everyday role. So, another study found that 68% of Japanese respondents say harmony is central to happiness. So, ikigai can be thought of as your authentic core, where what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for all come together. Picture you're looking at a blank paper and you begin drawing a Venn diagram. So in one circle, you'll list the things that you love. In another circle, you'll list the things that you're good at. In the next circle, you'll list what the world needs. And in the last circle, you'll list what you can be paid for. Where all four circles overlap, that is your ikigai. In short, ikigai is the fuel that gives your life direction and energy. It combines joy and purpose. It might not be flashy, but it gives you a sense of contentment and motivation every single day. So here's what's cool. The more I research hedonic and eudaimonic happiness, the more I realize that they're kind of like a power couple. You ultimately need both. A bit of joy now, hello, warm glazed donuts, and a deeper sense of purpose over time. But the thing is, you can't really tap into that big picture fulfillment if your brain feels like it's stuck in bed. So I've been trying to be more intentional with my self-reflection sessions each day and start with a little mental performance shot from Magic Mind. And I've really been enjoying that it's packed with mushroom nootropics and adaptogens, basically the stuff that supports brain clarity, stress balance, and immune function, without the jittery feeling that comes with heavy caffeine. Think clean energy plus clarity, giving your brain a friendly nudge in the right direction toward the kind of flow that makes having a balanced sense of happiness possible. Because let's be for real, finding your purpose is hard enough if your brain's still on do not disturb. And because you're here listening in, I have a limited offer that you can use now that gets you up to 50% off your very first subscription with the code WhatNow50 at checkout. There's no pressure at all. This is just something that has been helpful, again, in my self-reflection sessions, and I think you might find value in it too. Again, that code for 50% off your first subscription is WhatNow50. All of the information will also be linked in the description of this podcast episode. So what does all of this really mean for you? Well, the good news is there's no one size fits all definition of happiness, which is a lovely thought in itself when you take a moment to truly think about it. This means you get to step back, look at the world, and build a version of happiness that works specifically for you. Maybe that's chasing goals, or maybe it's slowing down and connecting more. Learning how other cultures find joy can truly help us fill in the gaps in our own lives. So here's something else for you to try. Ask yourself these two questions. What does my ideal day look like, and what makes me feel connected to others? Then think of various actions, no matter how big or how small, that you can take now to achieve both. Then you'll be one step closer to achieving balanced happiness. So the next time you're scrolling past someone's highlight reel, remember, happiness means different things to different people. And that's not just okay, it's extremely powerful. So if this episode sparked something for you, we'd love to send you more insights like these. Be sure to join the email list at flywithj.com, and you'll get bonus takeaways, book recommendations, and deep dives that you won't hear on the podcast. Thanks for listening in, and until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and be kind.